We even have a fake engine noise. So driving experiences or loads of tech. Well, the XPENG Next P7 claims to have both. But the truth is, well, you just have to keep watching to find out. Welcome to EV.com. So, full disclaimer, this is not the first time that the next XPENG P7 has appeared on our channel. We had a static review, we had a media test drive, but none of those things are really good enough for me to share with you the truth about this car. So for those reasons, I'm not going to go into a very deep dive about the spec of this car. You can check one of our previous videos if you want to know more about the nerdy details. Instead, having borrowed this car for a few days, I'm going to share with you more about what the reality of living with this car, owning this car, might be like, and why you should choose this over something more sensible, more practical than maybe an XPENG G6 or an XPENG P7 Plus. Now, let's get into it. So let's start with the really obvious. It's a sedan. Yes, remember sedans? But I think the world is gradually being consumed by SUVs and coupe SUVs. So it's always nice to see a sedan, and especially a sedan with a design like this. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time breaking down the design today. You've probably seen this before. We did look at the design more closely in the static review. All I'm going to say is it's incredible. It's futuristic. It looks like a concept car that somehow escaped from XPENG's design studio. This car here turns heads even in China. Can you imagine if you were driving this car down your average European street, what people would think? I think their heads would explode. I remember when I first saw pictures of this Next P7, and I said to the guys at XPENG, I said, this is a concept, right? And they said, no, it's not. Of course, I laughed, and then sure enough, they just released their production vehicle like this. And I'm so glad they did it. It's really refreshing to see new designs like this, forward-looking designs like this, designs that are going to look fresh for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, which is saying a lot in the world of EVs. It's also longer than the old P7 with a longer wheelbase. It is a long car. As you can see right here, it just about fits into the standard parking space. So length is great. It brings amazing road presence. It brings great stability, but it brings me on to my first point about this car, which is that it's not very easy for maneuvering or for parking. Of course, you've got sensors, cameras up the wazoo. You even have a top-down camera which shows up on your heads-up display to help you go through those tighter spaces, but it does take some getting used to. Of course, it does have an auto park function as well, but as I will tell you throughout the video, you're probably not going to want to use it. I think most car people will appreciate the designs of this car, but what do you think? Are you on the side of love or on the side of hate? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. And here is perhaps the biggest strength of the Next P7, and that is its driving experience is fantastic. Not only that, but you can customize almost anything. The wheel itself has a huge amount of customizability. You can adjust the steering wheel position in a lot of different directions. You can adjust the steering feel, you can adjust the suspension, you can adjust the ride height. It even lets you adjust the spoiler angle at the back here to the exact degree that you want. And that's not just tech for the sake of being tech. The Next P7 allows you to shape it in exactly the way that you want. You can customize the HUD. I actually ended up turning off the AR element, which isn't really AR to be honest, the AR element of this heads-up display quite quickly. It was basically like having a massive green snake there, and it was taking a little bit away from the drive. So I got rid of that, and now we have the more basic information left. Of course, if you want a raw kind of dialed back version, you can get rid of the HUD, remove that completely, and just refer to your driver's screen here, which is small, which is simple, which gives you only the basic and absolutely essential information. The Next P7 wants to be able to offer you raw driving experiences if that is what you are looking for. Now, yes, this car is an XPENG. It has their Turing AI chip in here. It does have some serious self-driving capabilities. And in the 4 days, maybe 500 plus kilometers driving this car, I haven't turned it on once. That's how much I've been enjoying driving this car. While I haven't been able to take this to a racetrack, I would definitely bet heavily that this is one of the best driving experiences to come out of a Chinese EV brand to date. So we have a close to 50-50 weight distribution ratio in here. We have Brembo brakes, so high performance braking. We have this sedan shape, which is longer and lower than the first P7. It means this car just sticks to the floor. So this makes it very engaging, very controlled, and very planted. And most importantly, a genuinely fun EV to drive, which is not something you can say about every EV, and certainly something you can't say about every XPENG. We even have a fake engine noise, which I'm only driving 30 kilometers an hour. That was getting very excited then, wasn't it? It is not good. We have the choice of nothing, this, or Supernova. This is Supernova. So, kind of like a spaceship, kind of like you're expecting Captain Kirk to pop out and initiate the warp drive. For me, that's scratching an itch that I didn't really have in the first place. I feel like I'm going to take off. I think you might be better off with nothing at all. While I was not personally able to check the Next P7 on the track, it actually set a 24-hour performance track record for distance, just beating out the previous record holder, the Xiaomi U7, showing its ability to offer thrilling driving experiences to those who want them. And the seats help a lot with this as well. Whether you are a thrill seeker on the track or just cruising along the highway, these seats are great support, great bolstering, and you can even adjust the side bolsters so they hug you in exactly the way that you like. Proper driver's car vibes. So let's get back to reality and talk about the trunk of the Next P7. So XPENG have figured out a way to give their sedans, like their Mona, like their P7 Plus, like their Next P7 here, large and very practical trunks. So very large volume in here. However, this car here is a sedan. It has a very beautiful profile, but unfortunately that profile means the top of the trunk is actually very low. Even at its highest point, it's only 55 centimeters. So of course, for your everyday items, for your shopping, for a couple of suitcases, absolutely fine. But if you're going to be moving a lot of bigger stuff, it's really not going to cut it. 你好，小屁。在哪？ 打开前备箱. So the voice commands from the outside I found is very touch and go. In reality, I don't think you're going to use this very much. So this is the dual motor version. So we do have a frunk here. Not the biggest frunk you'll ever see. In fact, it's probably one of the smallest ones you'll ever see. In practical terms, you're only going to really put maybe some cables, some charging stuff in there. It's better than nothing, I suppose. I mean, it technically does exist, but I'm not really sure how useful it's going to be in your everyday life. Inside, the interior, of course, is very livable. We have, you know, dual wireless pads. We have decent storage. We have a clean layout, although perhaps not as clean as your average XPENG. There are definitely some nods to kind of like the Benz, the BMWs, the Audis, kind of like their sports editions of their vehicles. It is certainly very driver oriented as well. Of course, this screen does have the ability to move when you talk to it, but that kind of got a bit annoying for me after a while, so I ended up just pulling it into the angle I wanted to have it in. And then we do have these quick access buttons here, one on either side of the car, which have different commands depending on what you would like it to do. My only criticism here is that there is a limited number of things this can can do. It's not full customizability like you might have on something like a Xiaomi. So almost, but not quite there. Maybe in a future update they will change this, but let's see. So while headroom and legroom in the front are great, in the back, not ideal. You know, I think even moderately tall people would have a problem in here, and my knees are quite bent as well. Definitely nowhere near as comfortable as something like a P7 Plus, which has that raised roofline. This is more of a pure sedan shape, and while it looks great and I wouldn't change it for the world, we do have some negatives as a result. But once again, if you're driving, this is not your problem, and I think the driver is the priority, as they should be. And make sure you let us know what you think of the interior of the Next P7. I think that while it is a sedan, and typically in sedans, especially EV sedans, you do get a lot of road noise, a lot of road feeling, I think the Next P7 strikes a good balance. You feel the big things, the important things, the small things you don't even notice. You know, we have the air suspension in here, and of course the ride can be customized in a way that you want it to be. So if you want to feel more, if you want to feel less, anything is possible. So this car here tries to walk a very interesting line. On the one hand, it's an amazing driver's car. Great hardware, great driving experiences, and lots of customizability. So you can drive it exactly the way that you want to. On the other hand, it's packed with lots of AI, autonomous functions, smart tech, and futuristic features. Normally, these worlds would fight each other. People who love driving often want something which is more analog, more raw. But with EVs, maybe that world doesn't exist anymore. So instead, XPENG have given you something different. A car that wants to bring you the best of a cutting-edge EV, but still makes you actually want to drive it. What do you think? Would you love to have this car on the roads wherever you are? And would you take this over something more practical, more sensible than a G6 or a XPENG P7 Plus? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. One more thing to consider about this new P7 is that having great driving experiences and lots of tech will come at a cost. The cheapest version of this car right here is already 10% more expensive than the most expensive version of an XPENG G6 here in China. So you are paying a premium for those great driving experiences and those great tech experiences. So does this make you think again? Make sure you let us know in the comments. Be sure to give us a like and a subscribe. I'll see you next time.